Hello everyone, this is HammerTron here with a new action figure review for you. This video goes up on a Monday, so today is Masters of the Universe Masterverse Monday. This action figure came out in 2021. It's a new line by Mattel. So this is HeMan, based on his appearance in the Revolutions cartoon series, which I have not seen and I don't plan on seeing it. This comes in a very nice window box. I enjoy the window boxes so I can see the action figure and the accessories, and I can examine it closely to see the details, and it doesn't really look like HeMan. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that. However, I bought it knowing that it didn't look like HeMan because I wanted to use this as either a HeMan if it looked good enough to be HeMan, or as a Barbarian action figure. So I'm still happy to have this particular action figure. So here is the front, a nice window box. There is the top. Shows us Masterverse, some nice designs on the packaging, and a barcode. There is the bottom. Another barcode there. Here is one side. And here is the other side. Nice picture. And here is the back with a little bit of biography for HeMan. Interesting picture. I think I'd prefer a picture of the actual action figure. And it's not too bad. However, this arm looks a little bit strange, and I don't know about the head. And here is a cross-sell of the other action figures in Wave 1. So in just a moment, I will open this up. Actually, it's an interesting shaped box here. Very strange shape. Personally, I prefer just a rectangular box. But this will be okay. I've actually already opened it up and had a sneak peek. I have not removed the action figure from the plastic tray, but I will do that in a moment and review the action figure itself. Here are the accessories we get with this HeMan action figure. The handset were attached to the action figure in the package. A fisted right hand and an open left hand. These all have little hinges in them. So once we plug them into the forearms, we can hinge the hands. And two gripping hands, a left hand and a right hand in gripping poses. These also have hinges on them. And here is a bracer that goes on the left arm. It slides off after you take the hand off. So it looks nice. And nice sculpting work on it, and kind of a bright yellow there. Here's the shield. Looks like a nice shield with a little bit of paintwork on it. And the straps. The straps are a little bit pliable. And this one is a larger loop that goes on first over the forearm. And then this will slide over the open hand, or maybe a gripping hand if it'll fit. And then here is the sword. It's a nicely sculpted sword, and as you can see, there's a bit of a shiny paint here on the blade, and part of the blade, and then the rest of it is gray. And then the hilt is painted, or the handle is painted. So it looks like a very nice sword. Here is the HeMan action figure. Let's see how tall he is. Looks like he's a hair over 7 inches tall. So that's a respectable height. And let's take a closer look. Now, the face, there's just something weird about the face where it just seems too smooth or too soft. He doesn't look tough enough to really be HeMan. Also, the upper body here, I think, is just too small. I think his chest and the upper body needs to be a little bit broader so that he has more of a rectangular shape to his body, because otherwise the head and the upper part of the body just seemed too small for the size of this action figure. Now, this is as far in as I can push the arm. For some reason I can't push this arm in any further. And now they do have a lot of musculature sculpted throughout the body. The upper part is too small, of course, but the rest of it seems to be pretty nice. This part is removable. We can just slide it off once we take the hand out. I've switched this fisted hand with a gripping hand, and I'm pleased that it's not so tough to pull out the hands and then plug in the new ones. So so far I'm just not worried about breaking anything, so I'm happy about that. Now here we have a pale yellow painted here and a pale yellow painted on his belt. Seems a little different from the original colors of HeMan, which should be orange. And here's the furry loincloth and some muscular legs there. They seem to look about right. So just the right thickness, not too thin, not too thick. So looks right. And then the boots are nicely sculpted. A lot of nice sculpting detail there, and some paint, a little bit of black wash there. Looks nice. And then there's some heels to the boots here, and then peg holes. And some more details on the back here. So they did pay attention to a lot of the details, just still a little problem with the proportion on the upper part here. And the hair color is just too pale compared to He-Man's hair color in the original cartoon. So it's not quite He-Man, but probably good enough to be a barbarian character in any display or diorama. Let's take a look at the articulation here. So we can move up or look up that much, look down that much. We can turn side to side, and a little bit of, well, not very much tilting. It doesn't seem to stay in place. And the arms, shoulders can go out that much. It's as far in as it'll go. We go around. And then there's a bicep cut. So it looks nice. And then it looks like double jointed elbows. However, this is as straight as the arm will go. And then trying to bend it. It looks like we don't even get 90 degrees even with two joints. So that's too bad. And then the wrists can turn, and they have hinges. So that looks good. Diaphragm cut here, so you can crunch forward, not very much. Back a little more. That looks good. And then there's a waist cut. And then the legs, they seem to be a little stiff. Maybe I can go a little more. Not a little worried about pushing that one farther. So I don't push very hard on the joints because I would be really unhappy if something broke. So it just takes a little bit of work. So there's a ratcheting up there. And then you can kick forward. However, the loincloth, the rubbery loincloth gets in the way. But we can go pretty high up. And back a little bit. There's an upper thigh cut on both sides. and double jointed knees. It's pretty good. And when the legs are straight, I like how the knees look. It just looks, it just seems to look right or accurate this way. And then there's a boot cut. And then the ankles can move down a little bit. And they can move up a little bit. And there's ankle pivot. So I think I'm having good luck with most of the joints here. Just a little problem with the shoulder there. And this leg joint up here. They don't move as much as I'd like them to, but they still seem to be working, and it's not too terrible. And not a whole lot of trouble making him stand, so that's good. Let's do some size comparison. Here's a 4-inch action figure from the Animal Planet set. So if he stands about this tall, let's assume he's about 6 feet tall, then this HeMan action figure would work as maybe a 10 or 11 feet tall giant if we have a fantasy action figure at 4 inches. Here is a Fortnite 4-inch action figure. So that looks good. This HeMan would be used as a barbarian giant in a fantasy scene. Here's the Marvel Legends Human Torch action figure, 6 inches. So a couple of blonde gentlemen there. So HeMan would work as a barbarian thug or large barbarian at a 6-inch scale. Here he is with Fortnite Legendary Series 6-inch action figure Wild Card. So the HeMan would work as a barbarian battling against some businessmen. And assuming that HeMan is a 6 feet tall person, then I think this would scale accurately with this Jumanji Ferocious Tiger action figure. And let's get the Marvel Select Colossus action figure. The Colossus action figure is about 8.5 inches tall. So it's nicely sized. So this HeMan would work as a barbarian, as a barbarian thug that Colossus can clobber quite easily. So I think it scales well nicely with a lot of other action figure series. The HammerTron Sledgehammer rating for this Masters of the Universe Masterverse HeMan action figure is, it's okay. You can see clearly in the window box what it looks like, and the head and the upper torso are a bit too small. The face makes him look a little, well, not quite tough enough to be HeMan or not tough enough to be a savage barbarian. Still, I think this action figure is useful either as a barbarian character fighting 6-inch action figures or as a giant fighting the 4-inch action figures. So that's primarily what I bought it for, so I think it's okay. Just a small problem with the hip joint and shoulder joint. They didn't move quite as much as I'd like them to, but other than that, I think it looks okay, and the rest of the joints seem to be working properly. If we take a look here, we can slide the shield over the hand and up the wrist, and so the shield fits there nicely. And then with the sword, we just have to maneuver the handle in between the fingers and the thumb and just do it gently, and there should be no problems with anything breaking. So I think this is an okay action figure, and I'm happy to use this in different dioramas. Thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.